I feel like I haven't experienced that in AZ, you know what I'm saying? Whereas like, it's totally different nightlife in LA,
Very
you know what I'm saying? Trying to get that set up.
Your location is going to determine like what kind of event that you're going to have the kind of people that you can't like. You couldn't go to downtown and throw the kind of event that we throw, because that's an entirely different like class of people. It's entirely different tax bracket of people that are willing to spend. So you go to downtown and people don't want to hear RJ. People don't want to hear, you know, the DJs that are playing the LA songs. People don't want to hear Migos and stuff like that. They want to hear more of the Afro beats. They're going to want to hear more of the vibes and more of the energy. Downtown is more of about, less about that class of people spends less money. It's more about you can bring in more people. Yeah, you can get 1,000 people at your venue. A whole 100, you can get 1,000 people in, but those people want to hear Afro beats. They want to hear vibes. They want to hear Anderson .Paak. They want to hear Black Pages. They're gonna want to see that type of energy. So whereas in Hollywood, in the place that we're at, we're in a completely different market, and that's like the people that we get. Those people are gonna thrive on their devices. They want to hear music that's talking about go ahead, getting money, spending money, getting with the most beautiful women, feeling the most energy, and that energy is based off of like where you've worked and how you've like pushed your life to be. And it's just like, that's a completely different type of DJing. Whereas in like Santa Monica, they have a whole different thing going on over here. So like competing in this Hollywood circuit is crazy. So like one of the major things is, like you said, location. Like, you know, like if the location wasn't the location, we would have to do things completely we have to do things completely different. We have to brand ourselves completely different, which
All about growth. Latest episode on IG, they call him Pride by God. You know, dears to us as ZIL, man. Got some firework for years, man. Even when you first touched the keys, bro, it's been like destiny, honestly. You know,
happy to be here. Happy to be here.
So I feel like it was meant to be, man. So just to kick it off, bro, let's just talk about how you got into music and everything that you do today. However you want to summarize that for us, and then we'll start rocking with what you got for us.
Yeah. So how I got into music, I was pretty much destined to get into music. My father was a DJ. My father was a DJ in the 90s, like real big in that, like real LA energy, Crenshaw, hanging out with Dr. Dre, that kind of DJ. So I never ever even thought of the concept of DJing until I was 12 years old. And I just noticed that my father's mixer was in the living room and he would play music off of it. And then at 12 years old, I just decided like, oh man, I want to press these buttons. I just want to see what these buttons do. Pressing the buttons, my father walks in just like, man, from work, and he's just like, music's playing, it's super loud, what's going on? He looked at me and he just kept going. And I just knew like, okay, this is something that I could do. That was the first time I ever considered music. And from before then and then on, I listened to every single type of music, every style, and I tried to picture it. So once doing that, it turned into me being 13 years old, and me and a couple of my friends, we started throwing a house party. It was in View Park. It was a giant house party. It was on a street called Kenway. So my brother's partner and I, we were doing this big high school party with like 400 kids, all of LA, like every single side of LA. From the rich side in the View Park to the other side, from people from South Central. Everybody knew that this is where they're coming. From that, it escalated into us doing parties in Hollywood. Just imagine, I'm 16 in Hollywood at Bordner's DJing, YG coming through, Tyga coming through, YG's artists at the time, Tania coming through, and they're coming up and they're shaking hands with me, shaking hands with my partner, and we're sitting here like, dang, this is YG, like, man, like, you know. So I started off heavy being a DJ, heavy DJ energy, DJing, practicing at my craft every single day. And then from there, I actually ended up going to college. So once I went to college, I was outside of LA. I went to college at Arizona State. And I can tell you this, the first house party I went to, I can tell you who was there, man. It was my dog, Patrick Collins. It was my dog, Dom Root. It was my dog, Jay. From the first party, hold on, actually, also, it was my dog, Florida 2. Can't forget him. He's a huge part of the story. So my dog, Patrick Collins, my dog, Jay, my dog, Dom Root, and my dog, Florida. So from the first party I went in there, some building off of ASU, had a good time, music was bumping, ladies were moving. I just remember looking around, probably off of some Bombay or something crazy like that, looking around and thinking like, oh, I could come out here and run this. I can do this. Oh, this is the same. It's AZ, but it's no different. Everywhere is the same. So, a couple months go by, and I got introduced into my passion. One of my dogs that we went out with that night, Dom Root, literally, I think we had went out the night before, and it was like a Saturday, and then this was a Monday or something like that, and we were about to go out again. We didn't end up going out, but I biked over to his crib, him and Jay's crib, pulled up, and me and Jay were about to go out. Me, Jay, and Pat were about to go out. And Don was like, no, I'm not going out, you know, and he's sitting out in the living room, and he got his computer out, and he's like working on like some program. And it was, okay, cool, boom, we're gonna go out, you know. We kind of get in our vibe. You know, we might have sipped a little bit, we might have blew a little bit, but, and you know, I just see Dom working on his computer, and I'm just like, bro, like, what are you doing? You know, just like, oh, bro, like, I'm producing. I'm like, damn, you're a producer? And I'm just like, dude, I've been DJing for years, and I've always thought production was something that you can only do in a large, giant Hollywood studio, giant $1 million mixers, giant $1 million ensembles. And I see him right here on his couch, and he's showing me, he's hitting the buttons, and he's like making a beat like right there. So from there, I was like, man, like, dang, I didn't know that this was possible. And he was like, boom, this is the program. Like, he showed me the program. Oh, you can download it right here. It shows me where to download it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you know, like, and then Patrick, Florida, and Jay went out, and I went home. I went to the crib, bro. I went to the crib, and I downloaded FL right there. So my roommate was asleep, and I'm in the crib. I didn't have no earphones. I'm in the crib. I'm on my Dell laptop, and I'm on FL Studio. And I remember I created two beats. I created one beat called My First One, and I created another beat. I don't remember what the name was, but like I was shopping it around to people like, this is the beat Kanye and Jay-Z are gonna retire to. Like, this is beautiful, like, you know. And it was just a little FL Studio beat. But that's 100% how I got started in producing and DJing.
Fire. So, given all that you said, like, and kind of how the journey came about, how long would you say you've been making music now for?
I've been making music for 13 years.
And in all of that 13 years, what's been some of the most meaningful music you've either created and put out? Or maybe if there's even something still in the hard drive, you know, you're hanging on to that you feel could be impactful, that you're just waiting on the right time?
Well, that's an easy question. That's an easy question for me. So I can think of 3 songs. So The first song that and this is in no particular order, but the first song I can think of, it's a song called Beneath Me. I recorded that in Arizona. I recorded it with a saxophone musician named Stone. And it was one of the first songs that I actually recorded with my own voice on it as an artist. It was one of my first songs. Because when I initially started, after like 4 years, that's when I finally decided to try my own voice. I was initially strictly a producer, only production, only sending out beats. But I made this song with Stone. And the song I made with Stone was so special to me because it was one of the first times I really felt real R&B, I felt real energy. And it was also one of the first times I collaborated with an artist that brought more than just vocals. I collaborated with an artist that was a music theory dynamo. And you know, it's like, you sit down with somebody, you're expecting to get some good work done, and then they just go all the way up and down the chromatic scale. They don't have to ask you any questions. He's just in here with this saxophone and he is just monstering it. So that song with Stone would be number one. Number two would be a song that, this one isn't R&B, so this one is more on the hip hop side, more of the rapping side. And this song is actually the song that has brought me the most success that I've gotten in my whole career. This song is called Going Ghost. Going Ghost got me into a lot of big spaces. It got me into Atlantic Studios. It got me meetings with huge label heads. It got me meetings with notable artists. And then also it got me placements on streaming charts that I didn't ask for. It got me a management deal with some people that didn't have to help me out the way that they did. And then Going Ghost was also a huge expression of who I am. Like if someone wanted to ask who I am and they listen to the R&B and people are like, ah man, you know, like that's cool. And I'm like, that's not me that much. You know, that may be me at certain times. But if you want to know like who I am, if you want to know who I am and what kind of person I am, you know, listen to Going Ghost, because that my homies will tell you like that completely exemplifies like my type of vibe and my type of energy. And then for the third song, I'm happy you said unreleased, because the third song is probably my favorite song I've ever made in my life, and I've never released it. Sometimes you make stuff and it's for you only, and sometimes you make stuff and it's for your people, for your fans. This one would need a special situation for it to come out publicly. It's this song called Now and Forever. It's 7 minutes. I wrote it for one of my favorite artists at the time named Wild Child, and he sung all 7 minutes of this song. It's absolutely beautiful. And then I brought a guitarist in from a band in Arizona that's really special to me, a band called Colorate. The guitarist that I brought in, his name is Kyle. So Cal came in and he sat down in the studio, he listened to the song through, and he said, what do you want me to do on this? And I said, Cal, I want you to go ahead and I want you to do anything that you can think of. And Cal sat down for 30 minutes and Cal absolutely played through this beat like he was the god Apollo himself. So that song is my favorite song that I've ever made. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna play that song at every single special event that I have. Like if I get married one day, like I'll probably have my first dance to that song. Family barbecues, cookouts. When I'm a grandpa and I'm telling my grandkids they don't know about music, I'm probably gonna drop that song. And that was called Now and Forever.
This episode is sponsored by Keep It Playa. Keep It Playa is the #1 party starter card game you need for all your gatherings. Get yours today at keepitplaya.com.
All right, that's fire. So when we talk about this music journey, like you really laid out some songs that have been super impactful, like for your career, but also for you personally. But when it comes to like challenges, because like no good things goes without, like you don't get this good without running into some walls here and there. What would you say has been like your biggest obstacle in either field? Because like you're diverse, man. You curate events, you curate like music. You know what I'm saying? You produce, you write your own stuff. Like anywhere on this music journey, from the DJing side of things to like the music production side of things, like what's been the biggest obstacle you've had to overcome? Either with a third party people or even internally, bro. Some stuff that you have to just figure out for yourself before like identifying that you were ready to take it to the next level.
The biggest obstacle that I had to overcome was a phrase called acceptance. One thing, and not just in music, just in life, us and other humans, we're not separated by time, we're not separated by space, we're not separated by feeling. The only thing that we're separated by is acceptance. So there have been some situations where you're waiting on something for somebody and it doesn't come through. And what do you do with that? Do you move on from them immediately, or do you accept the situation, accept that certain things aren't being done, and you decide to protect yourself in that situation? I would say acceptance, because there's been a couple times where I thought that, you meet somebody and it's like, hey, you hit it off with them and it's like, okay, we're gonna get this and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this, and you make the plans and the plans don't always come through. And the challenge with that is maneuvering, understanding your situation, understanding the situation, and accepting where the situation is, and not letting anybody else's acceptance of their situation dictate your situation.
That's super deep too. And is that and just like to kind of elaborate on that a little bit, how are you, when you're like kind of entertaining other people's music, just because honestly I got a little bit of insight, right? So it's biased, it's down root, it's not like I'm some interview guy on the other side of the camera, like I kind of know who you are, and I feel like you really give people like your full attention, when you listen to their music or even just give them feedback on it. And I was curious about that, like, and not that you're accepting their music, but I just feel like you're open-minded in general, like you can find the positives in a lot of things, and you got a sense of humor, so sometimes you could throw a little, like slights in there, we'll get it, whatever. But like my thing is though, I've always felt like you kept it real and genuine when listening to folks' music or like giving your opinion or having conversations about music. It seems like it's obviously something that you thoroughly enjoy, and that can date back to your pops, you yourself being a DJ. But when you are listening to other people's music, like what kinds of things are you listening for, if anything at all? Like, when you're just checking out, and this other up and coming, folks in the game, or maybe even a potential client, like what's some things that you're listening to in that client before you even take them on to like produce for them or write for them?
The first thing that I listen for with an artist is their content, and that's their writing content. The first thing I listen for is, what do they talk about? I listen to their music, maybe 4 or 5 songs. I listen to, what do they talk about? What's their relationship with their own voice? So when they talk about things, do they know how to talk about things in different levels, in different dimensions, in different perspectives? Or do they only know how to talk about things from one perspective? So first thing is, what do they talk about? Second thing is, how do they sound? And those two go hand in hand. There are some people who have amazing content, but they don't have the voice for it. Specifically with singing and harmonizing. So second thing, listening to their voice and how their voice sounds. Because even like myself, I'm not the best singer out there. I'm not hitting notes like Mariah Carey, but I know how to manipulate my voice for the space that I'm gonna be in. I know how to manipulate my voice for the song that I'm gonna be in, for the track that I'm gonna be in. So, second thing, I'll listen to how they sound. Third thing is more of an engineering aspect. I'll listen to how their voice sounds if it's on top of the song. Third thing I listen to is if it's on, their voice is on top of the song, or it's below the song, or it's in between the song, or if it can maneuver in between the song. So everybody's cadences are different, everybody's flows are different, everybody's voice is different, everybody's inflection is different. It's because music is about frequency, and we all have completely different frequencies in the way that we maneuver about going through our music. So I believe that when I listen to an artist on a song, and for this one, I'll listen to a fully done song. For the other ones, I can hear just a track that isn't even done, and I can pick stuff out just between that, just because of how long I've been doing it and I know what I'm looking for. But for that third one, I want to hear a fully done song, fully engineered, fully mastered. Show me your definition of what fully engineered is and fully mastered in the product that you're willing to put out. And I want to hear where you sit on it. Are you on beats that are bullying you? Are you being bullied by your beats? Are you on beats that are too easy, where you're picking beats that are giving you a lot of leeway? Are you picking beats that are challenging, whether they be alternative, whether they be R&B, whether they be hip hop? Are you putting yourself in spaces where other creatives and other people that are excellent at their craft will listen to it and say, wow, whether it's a pop hit, whether it's a top 5 Billboard hit potential, or whether it's just an alternative track, or whether it's an interlude that's just meant to be an album track. I'll listen to that third. And then fourth, and it's crazy, most people will put that first, will put the fourth one first, but the fourth thing I listen to is, how good is the song? How good is the song? Are you making good songs? Are you making bangers? Are you making songs that are meant to be listened to by a lot of people? Or are you making songs that are for you and your friends? And then, do you know the difference between them? And do you know which one that you're doing? So that's the fourth. And I put that one last because I feel like the fourth one is coachable. You can coach somebody to say, hey, this is what you're doing, you need to learn, this is where you can get better, this is, if you want to try to move into this lane, these are some paths that you can take to trying to get into this lane. And I feel like the other three are way less coachable. Those are years, and that's automatic feel, and that's sitting in front of your craft for 6-7 hours and not being bothered by it.
Right. Now that's fire, man. You had me cracking up. Sound like almost like a ad. Are you being bullied by your beats?
Are you being bullied?
Kicking your ass?
Are you being bullied? Like, are you under the song? Are you just is your producer carrying you?
Drop the ZIL logo.
Is your producer carrying you? Come to death row.
Real shit. All right. So before we get out of here, man, let's talk about what you got on the way, man. Any either visuals, new music, anything you want to put out there and kind of tease a little bit. And maybe depending on when the video drops, depending on what we got, we can kind of sync something up too. But yeah, just run us through what you got in the works.
Yeah. So we're back in that creative space. We're back creating. We're back in the studio every single day. We're back surrounding ourselves with people that are gonna incite creativity. We're back around the musicians. We're back around the producers. We're back around the artists. So right now, I have a solo album that's coming out. It's called Darker Than Before. It's a follow-up to my first album, and it's gonna be kind of a continuation project, but it's gonna be all new music, all new sounds. It's gonna be that alternative hip hop. It's gonna be that dark lyrics. It's gonna be those light beats, and it's gonna be fire. So I'm really excited about that one to come in and express to you guys, because I feel like when I get on my hip hop, I get to tell you guys how I'm feeling, where I'm at, give you a little check-in to what ZIL's up to, what ZIL's doing. So I'm really excited to let you guys inside of my heart, inside of my space, and tell you about where I've been and where I'm going in the future. So stay tuned for that solo album. Also, I'm coming out with a dual project with one of my favorite artists to work with right now, one of my favorite artists, one of my favorite writers. He's an absolute monster. Every time we've linked up, we've made nothing but absolute heat. So I'm working on a dual project with the R&B god Lee Water. I don't know what we're gonna call it yet, but it's probably gonna be something aquatic. And for everything that we've worked on so far, I'm super excited. We're gonna have some tracks for the ladies, we're gonna have some tracks for the fellas, we're gonna have some tracks for the clubs, and we're gonna have some tracks for the car. So I'm really excited about that one. Y'all stay tuned. That one's gonna be an absolute monster, because anytime me and Lee Water work up, it gets crazy. And then video. So I actually have 3 videos that are in the queue and ready to go. We're just waiting for the right time to get this rollout going. So I can give you a sneak peek. I got a video done to a song called High of My Life, and that one's off of the solo album. So that one's gonna be really excited, really dark, lit really well, and super duper high energy. And of course it has some background meanings that you'll be able to go ahead and take from that to make it special and align it to where you are and where you're going through your life.
Yes, sir. And then before we get out of here, is there anywhere that can keep up with you?
Yeah.
Find your music on Spotify. Cause I be trying to search it, man. You gotta let me know the best little keywords I can type in.
I got you.
It's kind of popular.
I got you. And that's what's crazy. Like, I didn't realize it until I got on Spotify that there's like a bunch of other ZILs. Like, I've never met another ZIL in my life, like, or no one else knows one, but you go on Spotify and there's like freaking 100 of them. So if you want to find me on the internet, you can find me on Spotify at ZIL, Z-I-L. Type in either Going Ghost or Vibe Alone. Those are 2 of my biggest songs. If you type in those, that's Going Ghost or Vibe Alone. If you type in any of those, I will pop up right there at the top. If you want to find me on IG or Twitter, you can find me at Prod by God, and that's PRODBYGOD. Come follow me on the socials. Take this journey with me.
Get your take Titans rest of the season. What's your prediction?
Oh man, Titans going undefeated. Tennessee Titans undefeated rest of the season. We're in it. We're ready. We're ready to go. We're gonna beat the Steelers. We're gonna get these wins, undefeated, and then catch us in the Super Bowl for sure.
For sure. And they said we delusional, huh?
We're winners though. That's the difference. So Tennessee Titans catch us in there.